on the streets of Dhaka, a mass demonstration turns violent. Well, Asaduzzaman Fuad is an activist from the Bangladeshi human rights group Justice Concern, and he joins me now. Mr. Fuad, thanks very much for joining us this evening. What do you feel like when you watch those pictures? Because sitting here, for me, as a bystander, I believe that the government have promised that they're going to enact these anti-blasphemy laws. We know that they've arrested some of the bloggers. So what's at the heart of this particular rally today? What's the end game?
Thank you. I understand so far the government had not promised any particular act to be enacted soon in the parliament. What they had promised is to take actions against those bloggers. And for your audience, be mindful that there is a High Court ruling from last year, February, that 84 bloggers and their respective blogs have been ruled by the court that government should take actions those insult the majority people's feelings and religious sentiments. And I understand that's quite democratic. In a democracy, majority people's sentiments have to be respected. I understand if the government had pursued in any particular line towards that, I understand that that's a respect for the democracy. But
then, in a way, we've also got double standards here, because we've had some Bangladeshi Islamic groups, amongst others. Now, they condemned the war crimes trials as being unfair, saying that they weren't thorough enough, and yet some of the supporters of the groups that we see rallying today are holding up posters saying, you know, execute the bloggers, you know, no fair or unfair trial required. So it does seem like a case of...
That's absolutely unacceptable. As a human rights activist, I do not accept it.
You mean those people holding up those messages?
Yes, it is. But however, what I have read from the 13-point demands made by the leaders of the protest organizers, they precisely made it clear that they want the government to make appropriate laws, so any insult on the religious sentiment of the majority people is acted upon. So I understand that's quite democratic and quite within the framework of the constitution. And for the purpose of the rule of law to be established, that's quite understandable and to be implemented accordingly. And in that case, I do not take the view of a particular activist holding a poster saying that execution. That's absolutely unacceptable. But I understand that's not the majority people wanted.
Talk to me about these 13-point demands, because there's quite a lot in that list. What are the ones that stand out to you?
But summary of the 13-point is basically the government is requested to take actions against those who insult the majority people's religion, and for your viewers, 90% people are Muslims. And in line with the High Court rulings, what they are not saying anything which hasn't been said before. The writers, members of the civil society have been saying it, that the government should take actions according to the High Court rulings. They mainly want that those incitement, hatred should be stopped. That doesn't mean that they should not write on the blog, but that doesn't mean that somebody cannot be an atheist or a secularist in their own private life. That's absolutely democratic, and that should be respected. But the problem is there is a limit and line to be drawn between the freedom of expression and dishonoring other people's feeling. And I understand that's quite a democratic and constitutional demand.
Asaduzzaman, thanks very much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Wish we had more time, but thank you.